Okay, welcome to this week's episode of The Artistic Biker, live from Houston, America, God's country. Last week we did our obligatory back to school page, where we talked about all the stuff that we had to buy to go back to school, the paints, the books, the chemistry set, the alcohol for the teachers, and I know it pushes the idea that all teachers drink. All teachers do not drink. I'm fully aware that all teachers do not drink, but mine does. So I know. It's funny. She comes home and she says, "I need a drink," and then you offer her a drink, and she doesn't drink it. She's asleep. Yeah. If she takes 2 sips of it, she's out. She's a lightweight. When we were in college, that chick could put away bottles of Jaeger. She could dance naked on the tables with the best of them. I mean, she could drink us under the table. I probably shouldn't talk like this. She's not here to defend herself. She is feeding her hibachi addiction. This week, I thought we would talk about Jack's in the chat room. He says all cool teachers drink. I'm with you. All the cool teachers drink. So this week, I thought we'd talk about daily practice. I'd like to talk to you guys. I'd like you guys to feed back on daily practice, even if it's not art. Maybe you do pottery. Maybe you do gardening. What do you do? What do you do to express your creativity? And what do you do for daily practice? And do you truly practice daily? I'm going to show you a little bit about what I do. We're going to journal a little bit about it, and that's where we're going to go from there. So take your headphones off. All right, that's the opening intro. So, okay, here we go. Like I said, last week we did the teachers page. So I wanted to talk about daily practice. And I started a long time ago. I started doing, and this was based on an idea from Jeanette Jobson. And I have pages and pages of these. This is from an idea from Jeanette Jobson, where she wakes up in the morning when she's drinking her coffee. She grabs 3 items off a shelf, and she just does value sketches. Really pushing her dark. She just does value sketches of 3 random objects off the shelf every day. Well, I started collecting random objects like these things, which the only thing that's random about them is how I select them. The objects themselves are not really all that random, because there's still things that I like. Like this is Sea Life. Is that right? Yeah, Ocean Quest, Sea Life. I'd open it, but I haven't. Well, you know what? I can do that. There. I can't really show you the random object randomographer right now because it's back there and I don't have a camera on it. But so I collect these little things like this. And I draw them, or at least that was the plan, right? And all good plans of mice and men. I'm not really sure how the phrase goes, but so I'd take them and I'd put them in one of these, and then I would draw one of these every day. I would pull one of these randomly out of the randomographer every day, and whatever was inside of it is what I would draw that day. So that was the plan, was to put them in the randomographer and draw them every day, and then every day I was just pulling one out of the random object randomographer, and I would draw it. Just spend about 10 minutes. Spend about 10 minutes doing it. Sometimes I'd get into it and spend a little bit longer. I'm sure that was probably longer than 10 minutes. Sometimes I really hated what I was doing and I just rushed through it to get through it. But what happens is especially if you don't truly randomize them, you get a bunch of the same thing over and over. Like sharks. I started getting a bunch of sharks. Or horses and bears and cats. I started getting a whole bunch of horses and bears and cats. And I got bored with it. And then, so I stopped doing it for a long time. And then I started doing it again. But I was doing it, initially I was doing it with my fountain pen. And I realized quickly that I couldn't do fountain pen work that big that fast. So I moved to a smaller I moved to a smaller notebook, this little visual journal, and my wife had a box of these donated to the school, or maybe she bought them. I'm not sure, but we kept them because she bought them. But we have a whole case of these little bitty journals like this, and so I started using this in April so that I could get a drawing a day done with a fountain pen, and that was pretty cool. But again, it started to get I don't know if boring is the right word. This isn't the only thing I was doing though. I was also doing this every morning so that I could get used to drawing circles and ellipses and straight lines with the fountain pen. And so from the back going forward, I have page after page of this, and then in the front going back, I have these drawings. There's a goat, there's a cougar, dinosaur skull, baby elephant. Well, it's not a baby elephant. Giraffe, soldier boy, spider. Anyway, but I stopped doing it. I don't know if I lost patience. I don't know. It doesn't take much to break a daily habit. It takes a lot to start a daily habit, but it doesn't take much to break a daily habit. And I was watching a video today that really drove the point home for me. Stan Prokopinko has a channel, Proko, Proko, has a channel, and he was interviewing some artists at Comic-Con, and he was asking them about their daily drawing, their daily practice. And what most of them said struck home to me is that if I practice daily, I get burned out. And so what they say is that they've got a routine that they do, and then that's it. They draw on the days they're supposed to draw, and then that's it. They don't. Hey Terry, they don't do any more than that. And the reason they don't do any more than that is because they know that now that it's their profession, now that they're doing it professionally, it's very easy to get burned out creatively. So they spend just their creative time doing this, and then the rest of the time they don't do anything else. And so that's what I thought I would kind of do, and I'd pick the time of day that I felt most creative. And I thought I would focus my practice on those days, on that time, and that kind of practice. And so I started doing morning gestures. This is the last set of morning gestures that I was doing. This is what I do in the mornings when I drink coffee, is I do 60-second gestures. And I've done several pages of 60-second gestures. And then this is interlaced with my figure drawing lab work that I go when I go to figure lab. But I'll do 60-second gestures in the morning while I drink coffee, and so that's the morning practice there. And then in the afternoons when I do my paperwork for my day job, after I finish my paperwork, I'll sit and do faces and gestures in a pub. After boss wanted to talk to me about work. Oh, that stinks. So, okay. Jack was telling us why he left the chat room. So, what I'll do is I'll go to a pub, and I'll do my paperwork at a pub because I've got a keyboard for my phone, and I can do everything from my phone like it's a laptop. And then when I'm done with that, I'll have a beer, and I'll do some faces and some gestures, and I've started drawing in a little pinups. But even this, I even got bored doing this, and I love drawing pinups. But I even got a little bored doing this. These are the last two that I did. But I think they're getting better. I think the daily practice is making them get better. Like this is from everything's cascading around me. This is from figure drawing this week. Tuesday nights I go to figure drawing, and I think that's probably the best one from figure drawing. And it's done with a brush pen. A fountain pen, a brush pen, and a basic set of watercolors. And they're getting better. I continue to struggle with fingers. I continue to struggle with feet. But I think my faces are coming along. I need to work a whole lot more. So what I have decided to do, instead of just doing the same thing every day all the time, getting burnt out on it, what I've decided to do is on Mondays, I will paint minis, and I had them set out. Where did I set them? I had them set out to show you. Where did I set them? Oh, I love being this organized. Being organized like this just makes it so much easier. Okay, here they are. So I started painting these minis like this one. I did this one Monday night. So on Monday nights I do minis, which that's just painted on a little poker card. You've seen me do that in here before. On Monday nights I do minis. On Tuesday nights I go to figure drawing. Wednesday nights I have started doing watercolors. Here we go. On Wednesday nights I started doing watercolors, and I meant to show you last week, but I forgot to show you last week. I may have showed you last week. I don't remember. I should save this for what's on your easel. I'm going the wrong way. This is the one I did last night. So this is the kind of stuff I've been doing for daily practice. Thursday nights I do the show. Friday I'll do faces. Saturday I'm taking some lessons from Skillshare and from Udemy. I'm studying things like hands and feet because I really want to get better at that. But again, I don't want to get burnt out. If I'm not in the mood to do it, I'm just not going to do it, and I'm just not going to kick myself for doing it, or rather for not doing it. And so my question to you, and I want you to leave me comments on it. My question to you is, what do you do for daily practice, or whatever, however you're expressing your creativity these days? What do you do for daily practice to stay loose and motivated and enhance your skills? And what do you do to prevent burnout? Because that's really the hardest thing, is preventing burnout. A good online friend of mine, Jackie Beeman, she was doing a face a day with the Sketchy app, and she was posting on the Facebook, and we became pretty good friends on Facebook, I think. She may not know who I am, but at least I know who she is. But she did for a couple of years in a row. She did some faces. She did colored pencil and watercolor faces and off of the Sketchy app. And then one day she didn't do it, and one day turned into 2 days, turned into a week, turned into several weeks, and now she made the comment that it's been, a month or so since she's even done any art at all, and she feels completely unmotivated. And I feel her pain, because I was doing those random object sketches every day, and it's hard to stay motivated to do that every day. So I'm curious what other people do to improve and to keep growing daily. Let me dry this real quick. Oh, thank you, Terry. I can't really take credit on the watercolors. I can't really take credit for the composition, because what I've done is I've downloaded a bunch of the masters, Olivier de Varnay, Scott Campbell, Rubens. Scott Campbell and Rubens. And Scott Campbell is a comic book master. He's not a classical master. But Rubens, Picasso. I've downloaded several of the classics of the classical masters and current masters, so that I can just have something to practice with. Kind of like going to a museum and painting off their, making a copy of the Canton masters. Something to let me practice my coloring techniques. So I can't really take credit for the composition. There we go. That's dry enough for what we're going to do. So I can't really take credit for the composition. But there are several things that you can practice daily. I have paint on me already. I have done nothing yet, and I already have paint on me. And normally I don't mind that, but I don't want to get it on my phone. So when I do my daily gestures, I go to the Figurosity website. And do I have a pen? I better have a pen. I go to the Figurosity website and I set it for nude. I have a new screensaver, or not screensaver, screen cover on my phone, and it makes it where it doesn't recognize when I click things. I'm gonna have to take it off and start over. Okay, so let's do a few of these in 30 seconds for a background. Can you see that? No, you can't see that because there's a glare on it. What if I put it right there? Close enough. Okay, go. So we'll just do some 30-second gestures. Well, let's get a pen that works, because that pen's not going to work on that. Let's do it with a brush pen. I love my brush pen. Have I ever told you guys that I love my brush pen? I may have mentioned it. I'm not sure. All right. So the mark that I intended to make was this one. We're just doing some quick 30-second gestures just to get a background in here. It's hard for me to not put too much information in gestures. I find that I want to put everything I see into the gesture. That's one of the things you're supposed to work on as an artist. That's one of the things you're supposed to get better at, just capturing the flow. Because the goal of gestures is not capturing the whole thing. The goal of gestures is just to have an idea of what they're doing. Anyway, this is good for daily practice, so I'm told. I think it's helped my drawings, though. Just do a couple more here. I don't know. Sometimes it looks like you're really catching on, and then other times it just looks like it's just primitive stuff, like caveman drawings. This is what I do in the mornings when I drink my coffee. Except I don't do it in 30 seconds. I do 60-second gestures in the mornings. That's enough, I think, for what we're going to do. So let's stop there. What brand is the brush pen? This is a Pentel water brush. I had one unopened. It's just a little Pentel water brush that I filled with ink. I put a little silicone gel right along the threads to keep it from leaking. It's just a little brush that they actually sell them now where you can see now this. Watch this. I knew that would happen. This ink won't run. Where are my watercolors? Here's some watercolors. Let's just use these. I knew that would happen. When I use my fountain pen, the ink lets me spread it when I'm done. And so it makes it easier for me to go back and shade it after the fact. I don't know, this is working out pretty well too. Just got to make sure you get enough water. And we didn't prep the page for watercolors, so just going to bead a little. But for 30-second gestures, you know, the goal is not to get perfection. It's to capture the fluidity of the motion, right? Like that. All right, let's dry that, and then we'll obscure it a little. So again, I think like I said, I do 60-second gestures in the morning, and I use my fountain pen to do them, and then I just use a regular water brush to do the shading, pulling the ink from the fountain brush. So as far as daily goes, this is probably This is probably a prime example of what I do daily. Of course, I kind of like that I did these with a brush pen. I may start using a brush pen instead of a fountain pen in the mornings. Take a shot at that. I may have to start using a fountain pen in the mornings instead of a brush pen. I may have to start using a brush pen in the mornings instead of a fountain pen. I think, though, that's flat white primer. I'm just going to obscure this just a little bit. There we go. I think part of what causes burnout, though, is not doing anything else. You know, you go to work, you come home, play with the kids, eat dinner, and go to bed. And you try to fit your hobbies in there somewhere. And there's no adventure. And I've got some dear friends in Oklahoma that when I go to Oklahoma, I try to stay with them. Hi, Kirk and Sherry. And they have Saturday morning adventures. I forgot what I was trying to do. They have Saturday morning adventures. And we tried to incorporate that, where you get up every Saturday, and even if your adventure is just go to breakfast and come back home and go back to bed, then you have that adventure. And they do that every Saturday. And so we tried to incorporate that here. And what we ran into, I'm trying to find a face. I have some 9,445 faces in my faces folder and another 3,000 to sort. So I'm just going to pick one here real quick to sketch for us. I should probably white out where I want the face to be, though, so that I can do it. What was I talking about? Oh, adventures. So, okay, they go on an adventure, and we started that, and we did fairly. Look how many of them are redheads. Can you see how many of them are redheads? Can you see that? Some might say that I have a problem. I don't see it as a problem. Well, let's do that face. She's going to be a redhead whether she wants to be or not. Let's do that face. That's an easy face to do. So, let's take a brush and let's take some absorbent ground. This absorbent ground, one of these days I'm going to finish the story. This absorbent ground from Golden is it's absorbent ground gesso, and it lets you it lets you treat any surface as though it were watercolor paper. So you just, after you have actually gessoed the area, then you add this to the area that you want to work with. And it will behave like watercolor paper. You can do this in Golden. Give me a call. Give me a call. Let's talk about this, because I love this stuff, and I'll tell people about it all day long, especially if you pay me. But it'll turn a hubcap into watercolor paper. So anyway, we did the daily adventure thing for about 3 weeks before soccer started. And then once soccer started, it came to an abrupt end. Because then the only adventure we had was soccer. And this season we didn't sign up for soccer, so I don't know what we're going to do with ourselves. But if we had signed up for soccer this season, it would have been girl 2, and it would have been junior, and it would have been Unique with Chantiel LaFontaine, the grandbaby, and all three of them would have had soccer games. And what happened to us last year was that our entire life, and this kind of goes back to the burnout thing we're talking about, our entire life revolved around getting kids back and forth to soccer, getting to soccer games, and playing soccer. And that was it seemed like our entire life was completely absorbed by that. And it's probably why nobody wanted to play soccer this season. Well, Unique wanted to play soccer, but her mom decided that she couldn't get her back and forth to practices, so she decided against that. But that kind of stopped us from going on our Saturday adventures. But it's not like our Saturday adventures were exotic anyway. Yeah, try having a cheerleader. I had a cheerleader, remember? Girl 1 was a cheerleader. Girl 1 did cheerleading and softball. Boy 1 did baseball, and then he did football for one. He did football for one season. He did baseball for 2. And girl 1 did softball and cheerleading. And then they both did church league basketball. And then girl 2 did soccer and scouts, soccer and Girl Scouts. And Junior is in the Scouts, and he plays soccer. And then they both year before last, let's see, 2016 to 2017 they both played basketball, and then they both played the 2017 soccer season in the fall, and then they both played the 2018 spring season in soccer. And then they sat out the summer and then decided not to do it anymore. I love my brush pen. Have I ever told you? I may have told you. I may have told you once or twice, but I'm not sure I've ever fully... See, you're supposed to figure out where the center line is on the face and put the nose in. I mean, the nose should be like right here. I don't really follow rules very well. I've never been a big fan of rules. Anyway, aside from all that, so, but we let the soccer thing take over, and made it where we didn't have any other life, and that kind of messed us up. It made it where we had no adventures to speak of. And that's no fun. That's no fun. Can't talk. Harding. Yep, love my brush pen. There we go. And then we'll take these same cheap La Cheape watercolors. Just wait until Granny gets down there. Now see, there's my... Pamela French says she's wondering if she could borrow my brush pens. Now see, there's my dad in the chat room. I didn't think my dad was going to show up in the chat room tonight. Because my mom and dad... I didn't think my dad would show up because I figured he was busy watching his trains. That's funny to me. My dad has started watching trains on YouTube, and I think that's just awesome. He found a train channel. And my mom sits in there and listens to him chat about it. So I didn't think you were going to make it to the show tonight, Dad. I figured we'd interrupt your train watching. I think her watercolors have been, these are Uniqua's watercolors. I think they've been exposed to spray paint or something. They're not very watercolory. Oh, he's on his iPad. He's on his iPad watching the show, and he's on the computer watching the trains. That's a horrible idea right there. That's not at all what I wanted to do. Let's see if we can make it work, though. Probably not. Hang on a minute. We have options. Goodness. That's what happened, is I got paint on my brush, but it didn't pool up on the deal, so I didn't think I had any paint. That got out of hand really quick, didn't it? I just wanted a little shading. I didn't want it scarred up. Now she looks like she's damaged. I don't know. I think I'm going to blame the watercolors. I'm going to blame the watercolors. And I don't have any other watercolors out here to play with. Let's see. Those are acrylics. Those are acrylics. That's chalk. I know where the watercolors are. Hang on just a minute. Can't believe. Can't believe I left the watercolors in the house. knowing full well oh, the computer is casting me to the television. My dad's in the chat room. He says the computer is casting me to the television. And he's on his iPad typing. This is more detail than I wanted to put in here. I really just wanted to get this started because this is more than I do when I do a face. But then once I started doing the face, I realized that she needed to be a ginger. And I couldn't just go off and not fulfill her destiny of being a ginger. She's not a ginger in that picture, but she's a ginger in my mind, and that's all that matters. Right? Whew. So this is the kind of stuff that I do when I sit in the pub. And I think that it has really helped my ability to do a quick rendering. Maybe not. Maybe it's just me that thinks that. But it's easy to get burnout doing the same thing every day. And so I try not to do the same thing every day. I've decided to try to mix things up. That's why we're doing the minis on Mondays and the nudies on Tuesdays and watercolors on Wednesdays. Everyone's a ginger in my mind. That's right, Jack. That's exactly right. You know what? I'm not happy with that. I'm just going to, under here, give her a little Adam's apple or something. There. Scarf, bruise neck, something. No, it's Monday Minis. It's Monday Minis. Figure Tuesday, Watercolor Wednesday. Thursday night's the show. Friday night faces. Friday night faces. Saturdays are for classes in fine art, and then And then Sundays are for getting organized. All right, I think that's going to do for a background. I think that'll make a nice background. Pamela, did you send an easel in? Did anybody send any easels in? I don't know. I don't know if we should go back through my easels, because I pretty much showed you everything I've been working on. So no current easels. The last easel I got was, oh wait, here we go. No, this is from last week. Those are your doodles from last week. Okay, so no easels this week. If you would like to be a part of what's on your easel, you can send an email to blade@artisticbiker.com with the subject line easel, and I will use your work to inspire other people. If you want to show us what you're working on, just send it to blade@artisticbiker.com with subject line easel, and we can link it back to your website, or we can just brag on you, however you want to do it. But the goal of this and everything we do is to inspire other people to do stuff. And so if you would like to be a part of that, here's how you do that. I used to have a little graphic that I could throw up and put on there, and I need to figure out how to do that again. They changed my software on me. It's hang on, I'll show you. Well, you can't see. You can't see. Never mind. They changed my software on me. Oh wait. There we go. Now you can see. And it's a whole lot more complicated than it used to be, because it's got all these other things on here, and it's just a whole lot more complicated to make. Ooh, look, infinity. It's a whole lot more complicated just to click on something, but I'll figure it out eventually. But they changed my software. Until then, there's my graphic. Send it to easels@artisticbiker.com. Okay. So now let's get back to the final stage of this. Daily practice. And I don't know if I want what else I want to do. I may just want to bring that back out, because the only other thing I was going to do is show how we do shading practice. I don't know. I kind of like this. Let's just bring this back out. Can you hear those dogs barking? Those are my daughter and son-in-law's dogs. That dog is this big, and someday they are going to come home, and that dog is going to have jumped the fence in the backyard. I have no idea how a dog that big could have jumped the fence in the backyard. That fence is 6 foot tall. I have no idea how a dog that small could have jumped that fence in that backyard and landed in traffic like she did. It was the saddest thing. Sad, sad, sad. I had to change a plan here, if you can't tell. I was going to add some more daily practice stuff, but I like what's going on here. So I'm just putting this back. Yeah. I like that. peed on me. So let's put that back. I should never have taken that off of there. I just like how that ended up. So I'm just going to put that back. Change plans. Seriously, I was going to come back and I was going to use this as a background, and I was going to come back and I was going to come back and do some shapes over the top of it, but once I saw that, I kind of liked it. So, it's my book, I'll do what I want. It's my party and I'll cry if I want to, cry if I want to, cry if I want to. You would cry too if it happened to you. Dun, dun, dun. Alright, I'm leaving that. Hi, Kyrander cats. Peace out, Jack. Have a good evening. She doesn't come out and sing with me anymore like she used to, Kyra. She's a teenager. What is that game where you throw the dog over the house? Your dog disappeared and that's my story. Yeah, that's one of my favorite games. That poor dog. I'm giving that poor dog a hard time, and the poor thing is suffering from vitamin deficiency. And all she needs is a little TLC and some vitamins. And we're giving her a hard time. They find when dogs bark like that, they found that it's a deficiency in lead. They're not getting enough lead. And they need just a little bit of lead administered at high speeds. It's not funny. That's a horrible joke. I can't believe you would even tell us such a joke. I don't know. Maybe we'll come back with some shapes here, because that's the last bit of my daily practice is the shapes. There's all kinds of terminology for these shadows. There's core shadow, there's reflected shadow. I don't care. For our purposes, we're just demonstrating that we practice shapes. Alright, now I need a little bit of acrylic paint. What color acrylic paint should I use? Green. Let's go with green. I like green. Green goes with all that red that's on there. Hey, Carol. Well, that's a lot of green. That is a lot of green. It'll work out though. Alright, let's see this brush right here. How are we doing on time? Oh good lord, it's 7:30. Been practicing my lettering too, can you tell? No. One of my biggest fears is that I'll misspell a common word. When I do this. Can't talk arting. I hate when drops of water run down the ferrule into your paint. Must be practicing. I can read it. Hi, Kia. Alright, let's see here. Did we decide that we decided that the fountain pen would not write on this effectively. So let's try a Sharpie pen. I don't know if a Sharpie pen will write on this or not. All work and no play makes Johnny a dull boy. Yeah, this is my cheapskate self saying I don't want to leave that. I don't want to waste all that paint. I didn't mean to get that much paint out. I'm a cheapskate. Not only is it cheap paint to begin with, but I don't want to waste it. 'Cause I'm a cheapskate. That's why I'm using cheap paint to begin with. Cheapskate. Somehow I end up with paint all over me every time I do this. So anyway, the blah 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 blah. You think that I'd never spoken before. That this is my first time with my brand new tongue. So the point of the thing tonight was to discuss daily practice. I find that if I practice daily, I get burned out. I find that if I do the same things every day, I just get burned out. And so my curiosity is what do you guys do for daily practice, for daily to improve, to stay at a certain level of accomplishment, to just to feel like you've arted, just to feel like you've done something. What do you guys do to let me dry that real quick. What do you guys do for daily practice? And I've been doing, like I said, I've been doing the gestures in the morning while I drink coffee. I want to get back to doing the random object randomographer. I think the gestures and the faces have really helped, but again, I just don't want to get burned out on it. Speaking of faces, Ayala Art, her 29 Faces is getting ready to start. She originally started it in February during a leap year, is why she calls it 29 Faces. But it was so very successful. So many people seem to enjoy it that she did it again in September, and so it's kind of a running tradition now. She's done it for several years now. I'll be participating. But it's 29 Faces, and it's Ayala, Ayala Art. You can find her on Facebook. You can just do a search for 29 Faces, and she'll pop up. I don't know. I'm probably going to try and do miniature faces this time around. That may have gummed it up. I'm not sure. So anyway, that's what the page was about tonight. It was daily practice. I have been doing, like I said, how do you find it? It's Ayala Art. AYALAART. And then it's 29 Faces. She's on Facebook. I think she has 29faces.com. But I put it in the chat room. But you know what? Let's just see if I can log over there and see it real quick. And then I'll show you. 29 Faces, 29 Faces, and then let's change to display 1, start, go, and bring this up on top, and you can see that it is, the name of the group is 29 Faces. You have to ask permission. It's a closed group. You have to ask permission. So just go to 29. Just go to 29 Faces. Do a search for 29 Faces, and ask if she'll let you in, because she will. And it's Ayala Art. AYALA Art is the admin. And she created this page in 2012. So she's been doing this for a while now. 6 years. She's been doing this for a while now. So it's pretty cool. I enjoy it. She does it. She does that challenge every February, and she does it every February and every September. Kia is in the chat room. Says she tries to do something creative every day. Oh, thanks, Carol. Thanks, Carol's in the chat room. Said nice redhead blade. Kia says, I try to do something creative every day, not necessarily traditional art, not necessarily the same thing every day. And that's kind of the thing. Kia, I try to do something creative every day too, and sometimes that's writing in a journal, sometimes that's drawing a picture, sometimes it's singing a song, sometimes it's not doing anything, seeing how I can figure out how to get out of doing anything else. So, but guys, thank you so much for joining me. This is my favorite night of the week when I get to art with my besties. I look forward to it every week. You know what? Before we go, let me show you this. Usually, are there any prompts? On 29 Faces, Carol, on 29 Faces, you just come up with the faces you want to do yourself. So, she suggests that you do something outside of the norm for you. So if you normally paint in acrylic, maybe use watercolor, maybe use colored pencils. If you normally draw, maybe do it strictly with paint. If you normally use your right hand, try doing it with your left hand. But she challenges you. If you normally do realism, try to do cartoons. If you normally do cartoons, try to do caricatures. But she challenges you to try to do something different. I don't typically do something different outside of my box. Usually I just do watercolor faces. I think let me see if I've got it handy. I may not have it handy right here, but I'm not sure what I've done with it. I had a sketchbook set aside just for watercolor faces. Is this it? This is it. And so the last time I played along, I did a series of gingers, which that's way outside of my box, right? This is September 2017. So this is last year's 29 Faces. They weren't all gingers. So here's last year's 29 Faces. So, but I'll be participating again this year, and I'll probably end up doing the same thing like this, because I like to be able to go back and look over improvements year over year. I really, really liked this one. I really liked that one. That was really fun. So anyway, I did the 29 Faces once, but didn't join the group. Yeah, you don't have to join. I just joined so that I can participate. That one was fun too. But I like to join I like to do it year over year, so I can see if there's any improvement. Sometimes it looks like there's improvement. Sometimes it doesn't. Anyway, so back to what I was going to say about the journal. Normally, this time of year, this next Thursday will be the first Thursday in September. We would have been finishing the book next Thursday, and then the Thursday after that we would start making normally we would have done the last page in the book tonight, and then next Thursday we would have done a flip through, and we would have talked about what materials you need to make a new journal. And then the second Thursday of the month, we would begin making the journal. The third Thursday of the month, we would finish making the journal. And the last Thursday of the month, we would do a fall page, and that would kick off the Halloweeny season. So we're not going to finish this book. We still have several pages to go in this book. So instead of doing a flip through next week, we'll go ahead and do another page. But then we're going to set this book aside. We still have 5 weeks of pages left in this book. I'll save this book for when I have to travel. If I'm going to be out of town on a Thursday, this fits in my luggage better than the bigger books. So we'll save this book for that, and then when we finish it, we'll do a flip through. But so next Thursday we'll do one more page, and then after that we'll start making the not next Thursday, but the Thursday not next Thursday. But the Thursday after is when we'll start making the new journal, the new fall journal for 2018-2019. Then we can kick off the Halloweeny season proper. So again, thank you for joining me. This is my favorite night of the week when I get to art with my besties. Be sure and tune in next week, same Artistic Biker time, same Artistic Biker channel. And then we dance. And we dance until somebody is kind enough to say that they see me dancing because they take pity on Fat Man dancing, knowing that it wears him out, gets him tired. And they say that they see me dancing because that lets me know that the lag is caught up. And once the lag is caught up, once the lag is caught up, I know nobody missed the announcements. So we can go on. Don't forget to send your easels to blade@artisticbiker.com if you want to participate in what's on your easel next week. Be sure. Pamela said night, but she did not tell me that she saw me dancing. There we go. Night, night, everybody. Mwah.